A bird comes, sits on the nest, and flies. A man named Charles is on the radio. While fighting, he got bitten, so he wants them to kill him. He's living under a roof which has a clothes shop, a bookstore, a food court, and an urgent care clinic as well. When they get here, he'll have turned. He is wearing a red jacket. Someone is here. It's Dwight, Morgan, and Grace. They find out that man wasn't lying. All this is more than enough. She takes something to eat. Dwight goes to remove the undead. She calls this food candy beansies. He says, "Candy what?" They get to a room and check it out from every angle. He has left a note for Grace along with a player recorder. He asks while wondering, "Candy beansies?" Dwight calls them. The dead have got outside because of their sound. He might have mingled among these undead. She falls down, and they need a first aid kit. There's a lot of bullet shells. Daniel is here with Skidmark. He asks Tess to get into the car, and they'll move out. He takes his recorder and turns this song on. "I got a letter this morning," on the walkie. Grace is unconscious. Morgan is doing a checkup. He doesn't call them candy beansies, he calls them jelly beans. He gets up and sits. Her mother used to give such names to things and make them official. She used to think candy beansies was their real name while it's not so. He has looted a camping shop. He asks about that. Was this an effect of radiation? It might be, but it can be due to fatigue, food, or something else. Listening to Daniel's song, Dwight says Logan and his people have looted a truck stop nearby. Logan might be in range and could have heard that help message as well. He asks him to get back to the caravan and bring trucks for loading from here. She decides to stay here. Her head is still feeling dizzy. Dwight gets outside to take a bottle for her. He takes out all the bullets and keeps them separately. He gives him a pack. Morgan isn't working carefully. Dwight says he should have given Logan those oil fields. Morgan says they and people had needed it. He says you ignore your conscience and heart. Now they have to be very careful at every step. He takes his walkie and goes for Daniel. He says he's heading south on Ranch Road 1795. Grace is listening to a podcast. She speeds it up and makes it loud. She checks the magazine and she gets to the electric stairs. Morgan stops her and says they didn't promise him to dig her grave along with his. She was going for herself, not him. Whenever she can't breathe, coughs, and every time she feels a stomachache, she thinks if it's the end of her life. Across the undead, there's a clinic that must have X-ray and ultrasound machines. She wants to know it. She wants him to get her to the generator. They get up to leave. Dwight stops the truck on the road and lights up. A man keeps a gun at him. He's with Logan. He's not gonna get what he wants. He hits him. He falls unconscious. He carries him. A toy car with hanging spoons attracts the undead. She notices Morgan's smile. They want to get to the generator room after passing the clinic. They slowly proceed while he keeps them going farther. He turns and Grace isn't here. He runs for her. She is following an undead in a red jacket. She steps on a sound-making thing, and the undead get to her. Morgan asks her to get inside, and they lock it. She thought it was him, but this one was long ago dead. Dwight will be here in the morning. Until then, they have to wait here. The shutter opens, and that man gets in. He calls him a fool who is carrying an empty gun. Now he has filled it. He wants to know about the oil fields. But what does Logan want to do with the fields? He must have started it with good intentions, then it must have become a job to live, and then he became dumb. He hits him. He has seen a lot of worse people. He's worse than them. He'll not give him. When he gets free, they'll see it then. She's listening to the podcast. He might be making a shake. He asks her to choose one. She takes both, the protein bar and the shake. It is her mistake. Otherwise, they would have been eating pizza sauce up in the food court. She's listening to A Tale of Two Cities. She hears it at 210 words per minute to finish it in a day. He thinks she's very brave. He has seen it. She loved horses in her childhood. Her parents took her to a ranch. As she kept her hand on a horse, it kept staring at her. She ran and never sat again. She kept crying, returned to the car, and never went again. She is an overthinker. She was only great at the workplace. He recently found one or a couple of horses. He did ride them. The glass is cracking. Dwight tries to open the cuffs. He's here again. He asks if he has brought torture instruments. He says he doesn't know why Logan wants petrol. He knows his name due to his tape. He thought he knew this man when he saw his tape. He has broken the same way as anyone else. He has Sherry's letters. He throws them one by one and puts them on fire. She tries but can't. He shoots the undead, and Dwight takes his gun. He's angry but looks at the letter and puts him unconscious. Morgan and Grace proceed towards the generator room. For the incoming undead, he asks her to turn her light off and hide. He gets to them. There's the sound of wood falling. She kills it and saves him. He thanks her. They always end up with the generator. She works on it. His son Dwayne was 6 years old when he brought her that remote control car on some occasion. He used to run it until it got very dark. He was a serious kind of human, but not to them. On his first date with Jenny, he kept smiling all night. She has no one. Because maybe of the same reason as the horse. One used to work in the plant, was nice, caring, and never stopped her from calling them candy beansies, but it never proceeded to something. She thinks Morgan is the brave one because he stayed strong at his place. The lights are on. He covers her. The undead are away. He helps her to open it. The siren is on. All the undead are coming. She kills the undead to clear the way and gets to the electric stairs. An undead gives him a hard time. She saves him though. This is the only way to get out, and they're low on bullets. As he handles them at a fast pace, Grace, being out of bullets, fixes the circuit. She saves him again. They get to the security room and turn the alarm off. She takes a car key. Here, that guy is alive. They do it faster. Dwight gets the man out of the truck, takes him to the side, and asks him to turn around. He tells him why his gun wasn't loaded before. He was right because he used to be a nerd before. Someone gave him a second chance, and he's giving him the same one. After he gets out of the forest, he'll have a chance to either change to good or stay dumb as now. He frees him. They are here. He apologizes. He wanted to leave a note, but didn't know how much time was left. He came up here as he told them to bury him under the stars. He wanted to see stars for the last time, but the sky is clouded, unfortunately. But fortunately, he's not alone now. She has something useful. A holographic kind of projection for stars on a cloudy night. He is so happy with the stars, so are they. It gets morning. They have buried him. He kills an undead. He is going to stop here to handle any undead left. She doesn't want to know it anymore. He didn't want to die here in the mall. She doesn't want to either. He calls it bravery, but she calls it being really alive. She is not tired, and the generator still has fuel left, so she has a ride here. She wants him to come here, sit with her in real. He seems exactly like an expert. Silence between them. The convoy is here. Tess, Dwight, and Daniel are here. He thought there would be a Cinnabon here. Sin City? No. A bunnery? Nope. He tells them about Logan's man being on the road and says, "Told you we have become careless." He says, "No, we're not." Tess saw a ranch on the way. They have to load up the trucks. Daniel makes Dwight's beard and hair. He seems a hero now. Just a wow. She is still on the podcast. He stops, maybe remembering that moment and smiling for no reason. Daniel can see it clearly. Grace fills the tank and grabs 2 bars. He's not going with her. He has to see Al. She is alone and might need his help. He asks her to stay safe. Yeah, and he'll meet her soon. Meet soon. He leaves, gets in the truck. She has tears. He can see it from the car. He has them as well. Oh, he's crying now. Maybe he's not in love. He leaves.